I could come stay with you.
Yeah, why don't you?
Just a minute.
You okay?
It's nothing.
Kira moves her family into a new house, and as soon as her daughter Ellie walks in, she notices several strange paintings hanging on the wall. While exploring the house, Ellie accidentally spots a door at the end of the hallway. Her father Brian tells her it leads to the cellar. Driven by curiosity, the whole family heads down to check it out. But there's nothing inside except darkness. Figuring there's nothing worth seeing, they turn around and start to leave. As Ellie takes one last look back at the cellar, the door suddenly slams shut on its own. Brian quickly rushes over to open it, but no matter how hard he tries, the door just won't budge. Seeing that her parents can't get it open, Ellie becomes terrified because she feels like something inside the cellar is crawling toward her. At the critical moment, her mother suddenly notices a key stuck in the door. Brian grabs it and hurriedly unlocks the door. Once Ellie gets out, she storms back to her room, convinced the whole thing was just a prank by her parents. Not long after, Kira goes to find Ellie and tells her she needs to watch her little brother tonight, because they have a very important meeting for their company. Ellie sighs and reluctantly agrees. Later that night, while she's on the phone with her best friend, the door behind her suddenly creaks open by itself, before Ellie even has time to react. It turns out her little brother Steven was just trying to scare her. Ellie asks where he got the mask, and Steven says he found it in a storage room. While they're talking, Steven spots an old phonograph sitting in the corner of the room. Ellie drags the phonograph out and decides to see if the thing still works. A moment later, a man's voice starts playing from the record, and the man begins reciting a series of mathematical symbols. After finishing the symbols, he starts counting upward from 1. Ellie quickly gets bored and shuts it off. After Steven falls asleep, Ellie sits alone in the living room watching TV, when a strange gust of wind suddenly blows out of the cellar. One by one, the lights in the house begin to go out. Ellie stares as the TV mysteriously shuts off as well. When the last light flickers out, the entire house is swallowed by darkness. Terrified, Ellie calls her mom. Her mother thinks the fuse probably blew and tells Ellie to check the breaker in the cellar. Since Ellie was mysteriously locked in the cellar earlier that day, her mom stays on the phone with her the whole time so she won't feel scared. When Ellie reaches the cellar door and sees the pitch-black staircase, she's too scared to go down, so her mother tells her to count each step as she walks down. At first, everything seems fine, but when Ellie reaches the final step, she suddenly closes her eyes and steps forward. Yet on the phone, her mother can still hear Ellie counting. That's when she realizes something may have happened to her daughter. Kira and her husband rush back home immediately. As soon as they arrive, they run straight to the cellar, but Ellie is nowhere to be found. With no other choice, the couple calls the police. By the next day, search teams still haven't found any trace of Ellie in the surrounding woods. Brian starts to think Ellie may have simply run away, but Kira believes there's more to it than that. A short while later, Kira begins putting up missing person posters for her daughter when the sheriff suddenly calls. The sheriff explains that they've checked every surveillance camera in the area, but unfortunately, none of them revealed any clues. Kira asks him to inspect their house, but the sheriff refuses, saying there isn't enough evidence to open an official case. After returning home, Kira asks her son what he and Ellie were doing before she disappeared. Steven says they were messing around with the old phonograph. Kira takes a look at it but doesn't think there's anything unusual about it. Then Kira checks her daughter's social media accounts, and to her surprise, she discovers Ellie secretly got a tattoo behind her back. Since the sheriff refused to come investigate the house, Kira decides to head down to the cellar herself with a UV flashlight. As soon as she walks down, she notices numbers carved into every single step. On the final step, there's a strange equation she can't understand. Kira finds it odd but keeps moving forward. She switches on the UV light in her hand, and suddenly the entire wall lights up with skull-like symbols.